Hi, I'm Michael P. Coleman, Content Director for Brother Be Well. Thanking you for checking out this Parents and Caregiver series brought to you by Blue Shield of California's Blue Sky Initiative. Let's move on to the next question. Some of the tenets for building a family support network can be borrowed, I think, from old-fashioned professional networking strategies. I'm thinking about hosting social events. You at work, you host a social event, you invite people. Back in the day, people don't do it anymore. You pass out a business card, you built your network. I think families have been doing that for a while, and we call it something different when you got little ones. We call it play dates. Families get together, you organize a play date, all the kids come over, and the parents meet and network and figure out what they've got in common and what they don't, where they work, what kind of work they do, what some are good at, what others are not good at. What can you say about that? And can you walk us through some of the other mechanics of literally building your family support network? How do you go about doing
Well, I think playdates is definitely a good way to start, obviously. But I also think that when you think about like how you have to support your network, like you're thinking that you have to go and like be a politician and like schmooze people and have to go to different events and talk to people and try to get them on your side and stuff. But it's actually a natural process. It really is. Pay attention to your kid. Who are they hanging around with? Who do they feel comfortable with? Those are the people that you want to bring in. If they have karate class or if they have dance class, who are they flocking to? Those are the people that you want to bring in. If they have school activities, if there are people that they feel comfortable with there, those are the people that you want to bring into your network. So you kind of you let your kid do most of the work and you just pay attention and then do the talking afterwards. I think that's the best way to go about doing it.
that? I love that idea, but I have to say I wasn't thinking about schmoozing. You put words in my mouth. I said nothing about schmoozing.
No, I was
When
thinking on the broader, like when I talk to people about how they build their support network, they're like, you know what, it's just so exhausting to have to go to things and like meet people. And I'm like, but normally you don't have to do that. You just follow your kid around.
yeah,
Oh, he likes him. Okay, let's go talk to him. It's that easy.
I like the way you put it. Let the kids do the work because the kids have already figured out, who they like and who they don't, who their friends are. So there's some commonalities there already, and so it stands to reason. It's not a perfect science, but if the kids get along, the parents have got to have something in common. Maybe there's a better chance of it at least. So I love that approach. Really love that approach. As an associate marriage and family therapist, can you touch on family dynamics a little bit and discuss the importance and the critical need, I think, to differentiate between those who might be very biologically close to us when we think about a nuclear family and those who are on the team or on the network. They don't always coincide. Grandma might be a great grandma, but she might not be a fabulous family support network member. So can you walk us through a little bit about how you can gently sift out the biological family that aren't on the team without alienating the family member?
Okay. Um, this one kind of stumped me a little bit, but I thought about it and I'm thinking that there's more than one network within a family. I mean, you have a support network for Bobby, you have a support network for Susie, but then you also have a support network for mom, and you also have a support network for dad. So the people who are in the family that don't necessarily have the skills or the qualities that you need to support Bobby, well, they might have the skills and things that you need in order to support mom or dad or Susie. So just because a person is in your family doesn't mean that you have to kick them out because they can't help people with mental health problems. They might be the caregiver, the one that is always like maternal, the one that is always the one that like helps someone out. That might not be what Bobby needs, but that might be what Susie needs, or that might not even be what the kids need. Maybe that's just what mom needs or what dad needs. So they can start part of the network. They'll just be a part of the different person's network, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It makes a lot of sense. I love what you said. There can be a lot of different networks in the family. There's not just one.
Yeah,
And you're right. Each kid just we know that children are individuals and there's no two kids that are alike. And so why would the network be exactly the same? There might be
exactly.
some overlap there. If you've got a really solid mental health advocate, then maybe that person can be on all the networks, but not necessarily on individual ones. I really love it. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at some individual professions or groups, and I just want to get your take as an associate marriage and family therapist on the role that they could play. How important is it? Let's look at first medical providers and mental health care professionals. Is it important for them to be on the team, and why or why not?
Um, Again, it depends on whose team that they're supposed to be on. If the child is healthy and they don't have any mental health concerns, and it wouldn't really make much sense to have a mental health professional or a doctor on the support team. But if you have a person who is struggling with mental health or is struggling with like debilitating illness or some type of illness that is like changing their way of life, of course you want to have that mental health professional there, and of course you want to have the physical health professional there.
Really, why? I'm going to challenge you then. Why is it so important that you said, of course, the physical health person is there, but you could make the same argument if the kid's not sick. Why do you need a doctor there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he's not sick, then don't. I mean, they don't need to be on the team.
I
But if
got you.
if he is, then yeah, they do need to be on the team. It depends on who's supporting who.
And it depends on who's putting the team together, because I think you and I might put a different team together. I would want a mental health clinician in the background, because I'm thinking, what about the kid that now maybe for you it's easier to identify when there's the signs of mental illness. I don't have that experience, so I would want somebody kind of in the wings. When I think about a team, you got a basketball team, you got 5 people on the court, but you got some people on the bench ready to step in when you need it. And I would think that you need a mental health clinician sort of at the ready, because you don't know. From what I understand, a lot of mental health, and I could be wrong, help me out. A lot of mental health conditions can arise really, really quickly. That a kid can go from being completely fine and functioning well, and then something could trigger a mental health condition based on brain chemistry or biology, but something can get triggered really super quickly, and you got to be ready to act fast. But if I'm wrong about that, let me know.
I don't think you're necessarily wrong about that, but I think you can start a support network without those people until that situation arrives, and then bring that person in.
I got you. I got you. I'm going to think about that a little bit. And I wish we had more time to explore that one. What about spiritual leaders? I was thinking about clergy or spiritual leaders. And do you have any tips for people for filling that void for families that don't have a religious underpinning or foundation? For some families, that would be super easy. You could go to the deacon or the pastor's wife or whatever. But if you don't have that underpinning, do you have any tips for how people might be able to reach out and connect with someone that could be on the network?
Yeah. I think the basis of having a religious um following, still not what I meant, but having a religious background is to teach the like teach children like the moral codes, like learning like ethics and what's right and what's wrong and what's bad and what's good and all that stuff. And if you don't have any type of religious background, it doesn't it's not as important as what the lesson is, if that makes sense. So I'm pretty sure everyone in their family has an elder, someone who has been through some things, who has seen some things, who has experienced some things and knows right from wrong, and is a very morally upright person. That would be the person that you would take your kiddo to in order to learn those things, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what you just reminded me of there, Shannon, is the old adage, "Do unto others as you would have done unto you." Treat other people like you want to be treated. I believe that's the golden rule, and
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure there's a scripture that's associated with that. But that's a truth that transcends religion. I think that's a basic way of treating people that you can teach without a formal religious
Yeah.
structure. And as you said, everybody's got an elder or somebody that can serve in that role. So
Yeah.
that's pretty powerful. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let's think about teachers, educational providers. Should they be included? And why or not?
um I'm thinking yes for the most part, and that is mainly because teachers honestly are as invested in your kid as you are. They see them for most of the day, for most of the week. So they know like what your kids' behaviors are, what they like, what they don't like, who they're hanging out with, who they're having problems with, their social issues that they're having. If you're isolated, they know that stuff too. So bringing a teacher in who sees your child more than you do, probably during the day, would be a really good support person for you to have on your team.
I think that you're 100% right on that. I already love talking to you because rarely I think do you and I think the other person is 100% right. But and I love talking to people that challenge, notions and questions and really want to dig deep and think about things. So I appreciate that. But I think you're 100%. That teacher is with, especially for working parents, that teacher might be maybe not with you, but awake with your child. If you don't count the time you're sleeping, that teacher sometimes is interacting with the child for more hours a day than you are. So it behooves us to include those educational folks in those
Yeah.
networks.
And another thing about that though is like school is where you encounter most of the stuff that you wouldn't encounter at home anyway. Like you're going to encounter new stuff at school. So your teacher is probably going to be the first person to see you react to something that you've never experienced before. So they're
Mm,
already going to know, like they've already handled it. They're going to be the one to teach you how to handle it. It should have come up again. Like
yeah.
they're like one of the best team members that you can have on
Certainly,
your
yeah, I think so. Certainly a good teacher, and we could have a whole conversation about that quality of education. And if you've got a solid teacher that's committed and in there, and teachers are some of our unsung heroes, I think, underpaid. We could talk about this all day, but
team.
yeah, I think that educational provider should certainly be in the loop there as well.
Yeah.
We're just about out of time, Shannon. The time kind of flies by when you and I get together. I couldn't let you get away without asking you, have we missed anything there? Do you have any other final tips for assembling that family support network for people watching or listening to this as a podcast?
I have a very small tip. I just want you to remember that it's called a family support network, which means that you want to have people in your circle that are supporting you. Negative naysayers, probably not a good fit when you're trying to accomplish something. You want to make sure that the people that are in your corner are the ones that are your biggest cheerleaders, the ones that are like raising you up, not putting you down, and lifting your spirits when you need them.
Yeah, I love that as a final tip. The term that comes to mind sometimes, and I'm not crazy about the term, is you want your ride or dies in there. That's the term
Yeah.
people use. I never like it because I don't
I
plan to
don't
die.
understand
I
that
want to
saying.
ride.
Like,
I don't
how come
either.
I can't just ride?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I don't want to ride or die. I don't like that either or. I want to ride, and you want people that are gonna help you ride, right? Not help you die. We can figure that out. Shannan O'Connor, Associate Marriage and Family Therapist with HearU.org. Always a pleasure, ma'am. Great to talk to you, and thank you for being willing to be with us. Really appreciate it.
It's been fun.
We'll see you next time.
Okay.
And I want to thank you for listening into this. And I also want to thank our sponsor for this particular video, Blue Shield of California, and specifically their Blue Sky initiative. That initiative boosts access to mental health support. You can read all about that fantastic program at this website, bluesky.blueshieldca.com. That's bluesky.blueshieldca.com. Another website I'll tell you about really quickly, brotherbewell.com. That's our own. If you've enjoyed this video or this podcast and you want to hear or see more, listen in on other conversations similar to this one on a variety of mental or physical health topics, check us all out at brotherbewell.com. You can join as a member for free right now, so take care of that just as soon as you finish watching this video. And while you're there at brotherbewell.com, sign up for our blog. Just give us your email address. And then 2 or 3 times a week, I believe, you'll get notifications in your inbox when videos or podcasts just like this go live. So take care of all of that at our website, brotherbewell.com. My name again, Michael P. Coleman. I'm content director for Brother Be Well. It's a great honor of mine to serve in that role for you. And I want to ask you to do 2 quick things for me as we wrap up today. Take great care of yourself. And then when you get it down, we're talking about these family support networks, right? You can be somebody, a member of their network. Reach out, find somebody that's struggling, find somebody that needs a little help, and help take care of them too. So do that for me if you would. Till next time, bye-bye.